Hi, welcome to Straz Recap. Today, I am going to explain a France fantasy action movie titled How I Become a Superhero, which was released in the year 2020. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The opening scene features a magician, Eclipso, who is exiting a theater after his performance. As soon as he steps outside, he's ambushed by a super-powered individual, who renders him unconscious before taking him to a secret hideout. Sometime later, Eclipso awakens to find himself restrained in a stretcher, with his body connected to several modern equipment. He also notices another superhero Brassero lying on a nearby stretcher. Brassero's body has become a skeleton as his blood and fiery powers seems to have been drained for some sort of experiment. This sets Eclipso in panic and he screams for help, but no one can hear him. The scene then cuts to our protagonist, Mearous, a police officer who is seen going through his daily routine at his apartment. While feeding his pet cat, he receives a call from work, assigning him to investigate a case. Following this, he gets ready and goes to the scene where he meets another investigating officer, Cecile Schultzman. Cecile informs him about the incident. Some superhuman teens had set a nightclub on fire after they were denied entry. Mearous then instructs other officers to summon the forensic team, but he soon learns that they've already conducted the required inspection and left. This means that he's once again late for work. Later at the police station, the superintendent calls Mearous and scolds him for his recent complacency. He then introduces Cecile as his new partner, whom he'll be working together with. Through their conversation, we learn that Mearous used to work as a leader of the Pack Royal, a superhero team consisting of Gigaman, Callista, and Henry. However, he stopped working with them after the tragic demise of Gigaman, and the team eventually disassembled. Since then, Mearous started working as a special officer to apprehend the superhumans. In the past few years, the crime rate had dropped to almost zero and everyone thought that the superhumans had left the city. But now, the cases are rising again, so the superintendent wants both Mearous and Cecile to work together. Later that day, Mearous and Cecile receive news about another similar incident. They, along with a police team, immediately rush to the scene, where they find out that a teenage boy is terrifying the entire school with his fiery power. Sensing the urgency of the situation, Cecile instructs the team to prepare their weapons for intervention, but Mearous opts for a more peaceful approach. He then disarms himself and slowly approaches the boy while convincing him that nobody is his enemy. He manages to engage the boy in his words and takes him into custody. The officers also confiscate some serum tubes from the boy that granted him such powers. Just before departing the scene, Mearous notices Gigaman's nervous daughter, Lily, who also seems to have a superpower. However, her mother takes her home before he can talk to her. On the other hand, a young guy named Ismail is seen selling the serum tubes secretly to the teens. Upon inhaling these serum, the teens gain superpowers which they use for fun. Back to Mearous, he goes to visit Henry, who has a superpower to disappear and teleport in the blink of an eye. As he's ill, Mearous goes to feed him on a daily basis. He tells him about the ongoing incidents in the city and asks if he can identify the source. Henry, who has been secretly studying these matters, tells him about the disappearance of Brassero. Elsewhere, a guy named Rudy goes to meet Naya, the mastermind who experiments on the superpowers and prepares the serum. He informs him about Lily and her superpowers, and in response, Naya instructs him to gather more information about her. Rudy obliges and immediately begins stalking Lily. Back at the police station, Mearous receives a call from Henry, who gives him more information about Brassero. He explains that after being released from the prison, Brassero started working at a restaurant in Paris. He also joined a volleyball club, which is run by Callista. The scene then cuts to Callista, who is seen coaching her students regarding the game. During this, she notices that one of her students is behaving strangely. She stares at him for a moment and has a vision of him getting beaten. As a result, she approaches the boy and warns him from staying away from whatever illegal act he's into. Here, we learn that Callista has a superpower to see the future to some extent. Not long after, she's visited by Mearous, who tells her about the ongoing predicament. He emphasizes that they must apprehend the mastermind behind all of this, or else the teens will destroy the entire city. Mearous then asks for her help, but she rudely turns him down. Soon after, Mearous and Cecile receive a call from the medical lab, where the forensic expert is examining a body. Once there, Mearous notices a tattoo and recognizes the dead man as Brassero. This makes him realize that someone has drained each and every drop of his blood and now that person is using it to prepare the super serum. In order to track down the mastermind, Mearous and Cecile start investigating more details about the people who buy and sell these serums. Amidst this, they go to the hospital to interrogate a teen named Amin, who was involved in the earlier nightclub fire incident. At first, the boy is reluctant to disclose any information, but when Cecile intimidates him, he reveals that Ismail was the one who sold him the serum. Upon learning that the police are after Ismail, Naya immediately instructs all of his men to track him down, as he possesses a lot of his super serums. But before they can do so, Mearous and Cecile locate Ismail in his apartment and begin chasing him through the building. At one point, Ismail hides in a grocery store, but the officers cleverly manage to arrest him. They then bring him to the police station where they try to get information from him, but the latter doesn't utter a single word. The same evening, Mearous and Cecile are working late at the police station. While Mearous goes to a nearby restaurant to buy some food, he gets a call from Henry. He informs him about the disappearance of another superhero, Eclipso, who possesses a superpower to render people blind. At the same time, Naja's henchmen attack the police station in order to rescue Ismail. Upon hearing the commotion, Mearous rushes back to the station and discovers that the assailants have blinded all the inspectors. This makes him realize that they've extracted Eclipso's blood too. Mearous cautiously walks upstairs to stop the assailants, only to see that they've blinded Cecile as well. They push her off the top floor and run away with Ismail. But right before she meets her demise, Mearous runs towards her and touches her. As a consequence, Cecile floats in midair instead of striking the ground. This shockingly reveals that Mearous is also a superhero, who has an ability to manipulate gravity and make things fly. Turns out he discovered his superpowers during the time when he used to work with Pac Royal. Meanwhile, Ismail is taken to Naya, who orders his men to execute him. In a desperate bid to save himself, Ismail reveals that he witnessed another superhero, Mearous, but the gang kills him anyway. Following this, Naya instructs his men to abduct Mearous and bring him here. Later, one of his henchmen arrives at Callista's school and persuades the students into inhaling the new serum. A few of them oblige, but soon as they do so, they pass away. The henchman then calls Naya and informs him about the new serum's test review. On the other hand, Lily's mother comes crying to the police station and tells Mearous that her daughter has gone missing. It turns out that Naya has kidnapped Lily and he wants to make super serum by extracting her blood. Hearing this, Mearous immediately rushes to Lily's apartment in hopes of finding clues. There, he meets Callista, who tells him about her student's death after inhaling the serum. Now that she finally knows the seriousness of the situation, she agrees to help him. However, Mearous doesn't want her assistance anymore and tells her to go away. After she leaves, he begins searching the house and eventually finds a piece of paper in a trash bin that contains a phone number. Mearous then tries to find more information, but he's suddenly attacked by Naja's henchmen. They administer him with a sedative, rendering him unconscious. Outside, Callista notices Cecile heading towards the apartment. She stares at her and has a vision of Naja's men gunning her down. In order to prevent the tragedy, she rushes towards Cecile and makes her hide in the car. Shortly after, they watch the henchmen carrying the unconscious Mearous in their vehicle. Cecile decides to intervene, but Callista, who has seen the future, suggests that they wait for the right moment. Meanwhile, Mearous' hand touches the van and despite his unconscious state, his power prevents the vehicle from moving. This scares the gang members, so they shoot 3 bullets in his chest and throw him out of the vehicle before fleeing. Fortunately, Mearous' power causes the bullets to come out of his body automatically. In the next scene, the girls take him to Henry's place where they treat his wounds before letting him rest. Later, while conversing, Cecile inquires about the true identity of Mearous. In response, Callista and Henry reveal that they met him during one of their missions. Their leader, Gigaman, was so impressed by Mearous' powers that he made him an integral part of their group. The 4 of them carried out several missions together and achieved a lot of success. But one day, Mearous failed to use his power properly, which resulted in Gigaman's demise. Ever since then, he gave up on his powers and chose to live a new normal life. After these revelations, Cecile hands over the contact number she found from Mearous' pocket. Henry checks it in his computer and learns that it belongs to Elizabeth, a psychologist specializing in superhuman abilities. It's revealed that she secretly exposes her clients to Naya so that he could use their blood to create super serums. Subsequently, Henry visits Elizabeth's clinic, feigning illness, and covertly plants a mic in her cabin. He then begins eavesdropping on her conversations, while Callista stalks her physically. Amid this, they learn that Naya is himself a superhuman, who has a special ability to hypnotize people. His parents were worried and kept on forbidding him from using his powers. But the psychopath grew frustrated and killed them instead. After that, he contacted Elizabeth and forced her into working for him. The scene then cuts to a few days later, where Callista tails Elizabeth to Naja's hideout, finally uncovering the location. She immediately relays this information to Henry and Cecile, and the trio starts comprehending their next move. During this, Callista learns that the police department has also come to know about the whereabouts of Naya and that her superintendent is planning to dispatch a heavy infantry police force. She speculates that there will be a bloodshed if the police get to Naya first. As a result, the trio decides to set off to Naja's place before them and rescue Lily. But by this time, Naya has already created some serums using Lily's blood containing electric power. In the next scene, Henry, Callista, and Cecile infiltrate the hideout and begin fighting Naja's henchmen, who are now equipped with the new electric power. Amidst this fierce battle, Naya tries to flee with Lily, but Mearous arrives out of nowhere and stops him. As they fight, Cecile takes Lily away from the scene. Seeing this, Naya inhales several serums and proceeds to chase them. At this point of time, Mearous realizes that the overdose of serums will soon result in an explosion. As a result, he immediately attacks Naya from behind and flies up in the air. Just as he expected, Naya is unable to control his excess powers, causing him to explode. When the other team members witness this, they worry that Mearous also passed away in the explosion. But to their delight, he casually returns with only a few injuries. Once the commotion is settled, all the news channels cover the news about the new superhero and name him Titan. In the aftermath, the Royal Pack resumes their duty to safeguard the city from the superhumans with ill intentions. Cecile presents Mearous with a superhero mask, encouraging him to proudly embrace his role as a leader. The movie ends with the pair sharing a passionate kiss, hinting at the beginning of their romantic relationship. This is my explanation for the movie, How I Become a Superhero. So what do you guys think about the movie? Write in the comment. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.